We begin tonight at 6 with the arrest of 2 teens for violent crimes. This is part of a troubling trend that we're seeing in our city: young people and guns.
Tonight, Jenny Renovich takes a look at the quick arrests and the ages of the kids who now are accused.
At 23rd in Alabama, a place of peace brought a crush of police last Sunday. 2 girls shot at the park during the dinner hour. Just 8 days later, IMPD and SWAT officers converged here and arrested the person accused of pulling the trigger, a boy just 14 years old.
I was really kind of shocked and sad to hear it was so close to where we live, and it's just at an age range that just is not it's all very unsettling.
Erin has a 14-year-old herself. She's anguished for the injured victims, saddened for the young suspect.
It's frightening to think about as a parent, and you know, that child has a parent, and I'm sure they're upset about all of it as well.
Too often, juveniles, firearms, and violence is taking place.
In fact, on Monday, the same day officers made that arrest in the park shooting, they found these guns in the apartment of another teen accused of violence. A 16-year-old who investigators say fired a shot off a balcony this past Sunday at Bayview Club Apartments in Castleton. Police believe the same boy held up the Walgreens next door, pointing a gun at a customer and cashier. The 16-year-old's mom turned him in.
Yeah, these are individuals that shouldn't have firearms. We need parents, we need adults, we need mentors to step up and guide these young people. You know, in some cases we're having that and they're still obtaining firearms, but 2 juveniles committing violent crimes in our city is not acceptable.
Metro Police say it's part of a troubling trend involving younger suspects. Younger victims, too, even those who survive, like the girls shot at the park. Indy had 12 non-fatal shootings involving juveniles last year. We've already had 9 this year, and it's only March. Guns and kids.
There are no winners. No one wins in this situation.
Frustrating neighbors and police. In Indianapolis, Jenny Renovich, 13 News.
Tonight, IMPD wants to know who shot 2 teenagers on the west side of Indianapolis.
We're told both of them are recovering after that shooting that happened near West 10th and Country Club Road. That's where Metro Police tell us that someone fired multiple shots into a home around 9:30 Monday night, injuring 2 teenage boys.
Investigators have a vague description of the suspect's vehicle, but have not yet released any information about it.
An Indianapolis man is going to prison for the rest of his life for the murders of 6 of his family members.
Rich Knight takes us into the courtroom for that sentence that leaves surviving family still divided.
Raymond Childs III received a 360-year total sentence for the January 2021 murders inside his East Side Indianapolis house. Childs' parents, his 13-year-old sister, his 18-year-old brother, and his brother's 19-year-old almost full-term pregnant girlfriend were shot and killed. A 15-year-old brother who ran out of the house was shot twice but survived.
The hole you've left in my heart and in the hearts of everyone who loved them can never be filled. I wake up every day knowing they are gone because of that night.
I lost family just as everybody else did. I'm still to this day, I'm grieving and trying to cope with it.
Raymond Childs III maintains his innocence, and at least some of his family believes him.
He loves every single one of us. So for him to be seen as a monster, it breaks my heart because that's just not who he is.
Childs was 17 at the time of the murders, a young man who will spend the rest of his life in prison. Rich Knight, 13 News.
Tonight, a Muncie man is behind bars in connection to a murder in 2020.
He's sentenced to more than 80 years in prison for that crime. 45-year-old David Bond convicted last month on murder and drug charges in connection to a woman's death. Now, according to the court records in the case, police responded to an apartment, and that's where they found the woman who was beaten.
Bond admitted that he had been convicted of at least 2 other felonies prior to that most recent incident.
Lots of sunshine today, and for most of us, the first day in the 70s this year, and we're in the 60s and 70s right now, hanging on to 73 in Greensburg, 68 Tipton, 66 Bunker Hill, and 73 degrees in Brown County. It's going to be a really warm evening, 60s and 70s all the way through sunset. Bucks in town to take on our Pacers. That is a 7:30 tip. No need for a coat if you've got outdoor plans this evening. It's going to be very warm and relatively relatively mild early tomorrow morning. Sunrise is at 8:02. Morning temperatures middle and upper 40s. We do have more sunshine on the way for tomorrow afternoon and another warm afternoon. For most, it will be the second day in a row in the 70s. 7 a.m. temperature close to 50, midday temperature close to 60. We will warm from there into the upper 60s and low 70s. Slight rain chance on Thursday, the best rain chance late Friday into early Saturday. I'll have that timeline in your forecast.
Thank you, Angela. Hundreds of rape kits are sitting untested in state crime labs. These are kits that could help police find and convict a suspect in a sexual assault.
So a bill to get rid of that backlog is now making its way through the Indiana State House. Our Emily Longnecker joins us tonight to talk about today's powerful testimony. Emily?
This is House Bill 1413, and it has bipartisan support. It passed out of the House earlier in session unanimously. Now the Senate has it. Today, the Senate's Corrections and Criminal Law Committee heard testimony from people all in support of this bill, including a woman who says she waited 20 years for the person who sexually assaulted her to be brought to justice. She doesn't call herself a victim of sexual assault. She doesn't call herself a survivor either.
I am someone who is just a game changer.
And Tuesday, Hoosier native and Ben Davis graduate Michelle Kuiper came to the Indiana State House, hoping to change the game with her support of this bill.
I basically used the horrific thing of what happened to me in 1994 just to basically turn that around and reframe that and use it for the power of good.
In Kuiper's case, that awful thing happened just 2 weeks into her freshman year of college in Kentucky.
I was taken from behind and kidnapped and sexually assaulted.
Kuiper managed to escape, but says her attacker called her after the attack.
He had called me at home and said he really liked my haircut and he could always find me and kill me. That's how I lived.
Until 20 years later, when the DNA evidence from the rape kit performed on Kuiper got a match to a DNA profile in a national law enforcement database.
No kit should ever sit untested. That is forensic evidence. If we had gun shell casings laying all around, we would test them. There's no question.
Right now, that's not happening in many cases. Republican State Representative Becky Cash says there's a 6 to 8 month backlog in state crime labs of rape kits that still haven't been tested. She hopes her bill will change that.
It's such an important bill for justice.
Cash's bill establishes a rape kit backlog fund, money to help pay for equipment and more staff to process untested rape kits. Also under the bill, the state police will be required to report the status of their backlog every year to the General Assembly, starting in November of this year. And every police agency and lab will be required to process all untested rape kits that have police reports with them by January 1st, 2027. The estimated cost to tackle the backlog, according to Cash, is $2.5 million. Money she says the House Ways and Means Committee took out of her bill and made into a separate line item in their budget proposal under money for the Indiana Crime Lab.
The money is there, and so we just need Senate appropriations to not take it out.
For Michelle Kuiper, her support of the bill is a way to take what happened to her all those years ago and do something with it to help others.
And if that means doing legislation and policy and good work in community and listening and helping people get to the right resources, then that's what I'm here for.
The committee did not vote on this bill today. Republican Senator Aaron Freeman telling me today that he has an amendment that he would like to offer to this bill. A vote on it could come as early as next week. At the Indiana State House, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.